Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm reviewing a pen from a brand I've not yet reviewed. I saw some reviews of a couple of pens from this brand and I got in touch and they were kind enough to send out a couple of pens, and that is Vazir. Vazir is an Indian-based company who make really attractive pens and really interesting pens, and it's one of those we're looking at today. They came packaged in a nice little box here with a little information warranty card with a chess sort of theme, which appears as the logo on the pen as well. It's very nice. So check out, you can see the Vazir Fountain Pens on Instagram. The pen we're looking at today is an interesting one. It is this. This is the Paradox. Yes, Vazir make standards, sort of shape pens, but this is one of their more interesting ones, and it's the one that sort of struck me because it is interesting. There are a number of pens that have similar sorts of features, but this one I really enjoyed. So I'm going to talk about the parts and features, do a writing sample, talk about some pros and cons. So starting at the top of the pen, well actually starting at the feature of the pen, it is this sort of like round pen that has been flattened on these sides to give this sort of almost kind of, I suppose, faceted appearance. The top of the pen is a smooth piece of resin. It's a resin-made pen in that rectangle shape, and then as you can see, the cap on one angle is straight and on the other angle sort of tapers up considerably to the center point. A tiny little step down onto the barrel of the pen, which once again is cylindrical or straight from one angle and then tapers on the other. We get the Vazir name there, it's sort of in silver inlay on the, silver colored inlay on the barrel of the pen, and then we get another of these rectangle ends. It is a screw cap pen and comes off in 2 1/4 turns. One thing I will say is those flat facets make unscrewing the pen very, very easy. There is a large step down. It is quite a large, pronounced step down onto the threads and the section, but you've got a nice long section, and it's a nice sort of gentle taper, tiny little flare, and then a number 6 steel nib here, which is a Yovo, and it's got this sort of rainbow sort of coating on it, and then the Vazir chess piece logo. It is a cartridge converter pen and a standard international, and a converter is provided with the pen. It is a well-cut, well-made pen. All the threads are very, very smooth. All the finishing is precise and clean. The tolerances are all really great. It's just a generally really well-made pen, but a really interesting pen, and one that I kind of enjoy. Now, obviously, given the shape of this pen, it doesn't post. But it is a good size pen, and we'll talk about that in the dimensions, but you definitely don't need this pen to post in terms of, the length. As I said, the nib is a standard Yovo steel nib and plastic feed. This is a fine, and you can get it in fine, medium, broad, or flex. So there are options for that, as well as having the nib in rainbow, chrome, or gold colored. So whatever picks your fancy. Size comparison now, and you see the pen is longer there than the traditional Lamy Safari when it is capped. Uncapped, they're about the same length, but you see that the Vazir has a number 6 size nib there. And then obviously the Vazir doesn't post, but the Lamy Safari posts considerably longer. The dimensions of this Vazir Paradox Fountain Pen are 147 millimeters when it is capped. It is 134 when it is uncapped, making it a nice size in the hand. And the way the pen orientates with the flat sides sort of, like that, and the smooth side running against your hand makes it very, very comfortable. It doesn't post, as I said. The section is about 11.5, so it's got a nice size, and around the widest point of the body of the pen is about 17 millimeters. So that big step up, you do feel it, but if you hold there is enough room on that section for them to be back behind your fingers. The entire pen weighs 30 grams, but you're writing with a pen that is 20 grams because it doesn't post. So a 20-gram pen, not super heavy, and the balance feels very nice. Okay, so now it's time for a writing sample with the Vazir. I spelled that wrong, sorry. Vazir Paradox. This has a steel Yovo number 6 fine nib. The ink in this today is Sailor Ink Studio number 135, which I think is a lovely match to the color of this pen. I don't always do the matchy thing, but you kind of have to with a pen of this color. So the pen writes very consistently. I've had no problem with hard starts or skipping or anything like that. I will say that there is a lot of feedback on this particular nib. You could probably hear that in the writing sample. And it's a fairly broad fine line, I would say. It's not a particularly fine. Quick writing. There's no real issues there, not a bit of a misline, but yeah, it's just a bit feedbacky. That's the only thing I will say. Reverse writing is possible, but not overly pleasant. It is not a flex nib. You can squeeze out a little bit of variation if you're careful, but I wouldn't advise it. And in terms of wetness, I think that's pretty good. So it's a consistent writer. It's reliable. I've had no real issues with, as I said, hard starts or ink starvation or skipping or anything like that. It lays down a nice line, relatively wet, but it's just a unique pen. And that's one of the things I really like about it in particular, is that it's interesting to look at. Okay, so let's talk about some pros and cons for the Vazir Paradox Fountain Pen here. Cons. Okay, I'm going to say, first thing I will say is that this design will not be for everyone. And at the moment, this is the only color this pen seems to be available in, although I'm sure it'll be available in more colors. And this color is also not going to be for everyone. I don't mind it. I like purples, so it's a bit of a win for me. The other issue some people may have is the step down there off the barrel onto the section. But as I said, the section is definitely long enough that you're not pushed against those. And it's not a sharp step down, it's just a large step down. But yeah, that's the only sort of big cons I kind of have for this pen. The pros, well, the design. I actually really like it. I like that it's different. I like that, yes, it does incorporate some elements that other pens have played with, but I like the look of this. You know, it looks a little bit like a tube of mascara perhaps, but I don't mind it. I think it's actually an interesting design. I really like the price point. So we might as well talk about the price point here. This pen retails on the Vazir website for $68 US, which I think is a really great price point. It sits in sort of the medium zone for pens made in India like this, but I think for getting a nice nib, a converter, a well-made, beautifully finished pen, I think 68 is a great price. I really like the nib. I think it's got a cool look, that rainbow nib, and I think the chest piece logo on there is absolutely brilliant. But it writes well, it's smooth, it's consistent, all of that kind of stuff. And then the other thing I like about this pen is actually I enjoy the feel in the hand. It's not a smaller pen, so it feels nice. But also, this material, it's well finished and it's polished well and it's clean and it's just a lovely pen to write with. And it surprises me how nice it is to write with. Like visually the pen is interesting, but it writes really well as well. So that's actually like a massive, massive pro. So thank you for watching my video today about the Vazir Paradox Fountain Pen. I hope you found it interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe and hit the notifications button and all of that kind of stuff. A big thank you to Vazir for sending this out for review. I have really, really enjoyed looking at it. So if you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you would like to support the channel, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.